Hello fellow stackers, 365 here, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we're going to be looking at the spot price bars for 2025. Now BBA quite often gets out his box of spot price bars and showcases them on videos, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to take a leaf out of his book in today's video and we're going to appreciate these bars, because quite often I only get this box out when I'm adding a new bar to it. So I thought, you know what, I'm actually going to do a separate video just appreciating these bars and not just getting out the box, adding a bar to it and then putting it back into storage. So that's what we're going to be doing in today's video. We're also going to be looking at the spot price of silver and how it's gone up and down over the last few months. And at the moment, we're coming up to a 10% rise within the last couple of months. So this video is to go through my strategy and to also ask those of you watching today's video, what is your strategy when you see the spot price going up and up and up? Do you have a point where you say, right, now I'm going to sell all of my stack, or I'm going to sell half of my stack? Or are you like me and you just want to kind of keep building regardless whether the price is up or down and just hold it for a long-term investment? So let's get straight into the video. Now, first of all, we're going to have a little look at the spot price. Now I'm going to be using this app by Bullion by Post. I'm not sponsored or anything, but this is a really easy to use and quick way to have a look at the spot price of silver. You can see you can click on the live option here. It tells you the live prices at the top left. And on the right hand side, it shows you the movement in percentage. Now if we go to 24 hours, you can see in 24 hours, it's gone down 0.60%. And if we go to a week, you can see that it's up 5.95%. If we go to the month, this is where you really see a huge significant change. You can see that at the beginning of the month, we started around £24 an ounce, and currently we're sitting at around about £26 an ounce, bordering £27 an ounce. So a huge change within a small period of time, just 1 month, and we've gone up 9%. So that is why I wanted to film today's video and just talk about the volatility of silver and go through my strategy, and also, like I said, find out in the comment section what your strategy is as well when it comes to the volatility of the silver market. Now let's start by having a little look at some of these bars. Now these are the spot price bars that I worked on with Louis. I came up with the idea and Louis made it reality. And these are released every single month, and each bar has the beginning of the month's spot price, so the very first trading day of every single month. So this one in January 2025, the spot price was £23.73. Now this was the first one in the collection, so it actually has a bull and a bear. Now when we flip it round, you can see it says 365 days of silver, spot price bars, it says the weight and the fineness. Absolutely stunning pieces of silver. Every single one weighs over an ounce. They're all slightly different because these are actually sand casted. They're handmade by Louis. So although they look like they've been pressed out of a machine because they're so flawless looking and really uniformed, especially when you look at them in the box, they're actually all slightly different because they've been poured into a sand casted mold. So that is the very first month. That is January. If we move over to February, we can see that it went up to £25.57 an ounce, and that was an increase of 7.75%, a massive jump up in a short space of time. And because it went up, we've got the bull to represent the bull market, and we've got these lines that represent the market going upwards. So really cool. Every single bar changes depending on the spot price of that particular month. This one weighed 34.6 grams. If we move on to March, and you can see the theme here, once we get to March, that how volatile the silver market has been this year so far. This is March, and in March, the spot price went down to £24.97, and that was a drop of 2.35%. And you can see we've got the bear to represent a bear market, and the lines are going down to show the direction that the price has gone down. 31.8 grams. Absolutely stunning. And if we move on to the next month, which is April, you can see we have a bull again. So you can see how erratic this year has really been so far for silver. We're back up to £26.32 an ounce, an increase of 5.41%. And we have the bull and the lines going up again. So a really, really volatile year so far in 2025. If we move on to May, we have a slight drop again. So it's back down to £24.38. And that is a drop of 7.37%. And if you've just seen the charts that I've shown you at the beginning of today's video, you'll know that the next bar is going to be a bull. Like I said, we've got the two at the beginning, but then we've got up, down, up, down, up, down. So yeah, absolutely incredible. It'd be really cool if this whole year pans out like that and it's literally up and down, up and down, up and down. It'd be very nice to finish on a high, but whatever we finish on, for me, stacking silver is a long-term investment. So back to the question that I asked at the beginning of today's video, and what is it you do when the spot price of silver increases or decreases? Well, for me, I continue to buy. I continue to buy whether the spot price is high or low, because for me, silver is a way of saving outside of the bank. For me, when I'm buying a 1 ounce silver coin, it's essentially me putting £30 to £35 away into a savings account that is away from any of the systems. It's not linked in any way to anybody else. It is my own bank. And once you've turned your fiat currency into silver, it's a lot harder to spend. If this was £30 sitting in my wallet, it probably would be spent within a week. I'd go to the shop, I'd buy a sandwich or pop down the pub and have a couple of beers. And before you know it, £30 is very, very quickly gone. Whereas if you turn your fiat currency into silver, there's a few more steps you've got to take before you get this back into fiat to be able to spend it. So it's really good for those people that are not very good at saving money. It really does put a barrier between you spending your fiat currency, because like I said, you've got a few more layers before you can get your cash back from a piece of silver. So it's a really nice way of putting your money into something tangible, keeping your money out of the system, making your own bank. And also, it's really nice to see that if we look at the charts over the last, let's say 15 years, let's go back on here and let's go to, okay, so it doesn't go as far as 15 years. Let me see what it goes up to. It goes up to 5 and 10 years on here. So if we have a look at the charts, you can see if we do the 5-year charts, you can see it's gone up 92%, which is a huge increase, almost doubling its current value. And if we go to 10 years, 161%. So absolutely massive increase. If you one of those lucky people that had silver 10 years ago, you can see that you're really quids in. Even if you're over here in the UK and you've got to pay the high premiums with the VAT, you're still gonna have really made back a lot of those premiums by now with the spot price increasing. So for me, to summarise, whether the spot price is high or whether it's low, I'll still continue to buy. So thanks very much for watching. Like I said, please do leave me a comment in today's comment section. Let me know, when the spot price of silver goes up, are you tempted to sell? Do you sell? I know there's some people in the community, more experienced stackers in the community, that have some really liquid type silver in their stack ready for when the price goes up. So they might have, say, a monster box of Britannias, and they go straight to a bullion dealer. They liquidate the whole monster box. They don't even open the monster box. They don't take the coins out. They don't mess around with it. There's no emotion to it. They have a huge monster box, or on a smaller scale, a few tubes of Britannias. And when the spot price goes up, they cash it in, and then they wait for a few months when there's another drop, and then they buy some more. So essentially they're getting more for their money every time they're doing that, as long as they're making sure that when they are selling, they're actually selling for a nice bit of profit, and they're taking in the premiums and the VAT and all the rest of it that they spent in the first place. But yeah, definitely some food for thought in today's video. Like I said, for me, I'm all about buying and holding. I have got a video coming out in the next few months where I do show me actually selling some silver. I sold some silver and I sold some gold, and that was to help pay down some debts and also to help with a refurb that one of my buy-to-let properties is currently undergoing. So I have got a video coming out in the future where I do talk about selling silver and talk about selling gold. But as a rule, I try to accumulate it and just hold on to it. And I think it's very important not to over leverage yourself. And this is something that I've definitely learned over time. Don't invest all of your spare cash into this stuff, because there will become times, like I've just mentioned, where you've got a bill to pay or an unexpected cost comes up and you do need that liquid fiat to be able to pay it. You don't want to have it tied up in silver where you paid a premium, the spot price hasn't gone up enough yet to cover that premium, and then you're forced to sell at a loss. Because if you take this stuff to a bullion dealer or to your local coin shop, if you live somewhere like the US where there's coin shops all over the place, then they're going to offer you spot or slightly under. So that is why you don't want to be selling this stuff in the short term. You always want to have a backup fund. You want to have a separate account away from your current spending account or your joint account if you have a joint account with your partner. And you want to have some separate cash that you're putting aside every single month. So essentially, let's say you had £100 spare at the end of every single month. Let's say a perfect scenario would be £50 for investments. And again, this is not financial advice because I'm not a financial advisor, but this is just an example of what you could do. Say you had £100 spare at the end of every single month. £50 goes to invest in, whether it be the stock market, crypto, if you like that sort of thing, or a physical asset like silver or property. You put that to one side, and then the other 50 can go in a separate account that can build up slowly. And if you ever get an unexpected cost, like the car breaks down or your washing machine needs replacing, you don't have to worry about the investment side of things. You go into that liquid cash pot and you have to take it out of there instead of taking it out of here. So it's just something to think about. There's a lot of people that I've seen that have overinvested, and I've definitely been guilty of that in the past. I've invested every single penny I had into different stocks, crypto, property, precious metals, and then I went over that. I didn't just invest what I had, I borrowed money in terms of loans and credit cards, and I also invested that as well. So many of you that have watched my channel for any length of time, you'll know that I've been very transparent with my journey. And if you watch back, you'll find some videos on my channel talking about how I actually started investing money from credit cards and money from loans. Everything crashed, all the markets crashed, the interest-free options ran out on those credit cards, and I found myself in a very, very sticky situation. But yeah, there are videos and topics for another day, but I have already spoken about that in the past. But yeah, let me know in the comment section, what do you do when the market is going up 10% in a month? Do you sell? Do you hold? Maybe you can't sell. Maybe even with it going up 10%, you're still not in the green if you was to sell this back at spot price. Maybe you've got some really high premium pieces in your stack, and you've really got to wait for the spot price to go up 50 or 60% before you can actually sell and make a profit. But yeah, thanks very much for watching. Lots of different things to discuss in the comment section. Lots of food for thought. But as always, thanks for watching. Really, really appreciate all of the viewers, the comments, the likes, and the subscribers. This video is actually my 1001th video. So yesterday I uploaded my 1000th video on the channel, which is really, really cool landmark to achieve. And it just goes to show how much content I've been pumping out. 1,000 videos here on YouTube is absolutely insane. So yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm going to stop the camera and I'm going to play around with these a little bit more, because I really do want to appreciate these a little bit further than just getting them out once a month, adding a new bar to it and then putting them away. And like I said at the beginning of the video, BBA, this video was inspired by you, because you're often getting these out in videos and playing around with them and showcasing them. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to do the same. So thanks so much for watching. Thanks for all the support. And I hope you have a very nice day.